boxing's a dangerous sport. People don't like them words being spoken about, but it is. I say, don't be under no illusion. When you get in there, somebody closes their fists and hits you, you've got problems.
I am a product of this gym. This was my home. This gym turned me into a man from being a boy, and that's why this gym is it's pivotal. Always has been in my life.
Just the aura of the gym. You knew you'd walked into something, you know, a proper boxing gym. You walk into this gym, you know you're in a hard, smelly, sweaty gym.
Organised chaos, yeah, definitely, organised chaos. There's a system to it, and you walk in and you can't understand it. You know what I mean? You cannot, if you've never walked into a gym, you walk into it and you look at it and you just think, everybody's doing their own thing. He's doing this, he's doing that. Who's looking after him, who's teaching him? And if you're not around the gym, you can't understand the gym.
You know, for such a small place, Winkerbank, Sheffield, you know, we've had some fantastic boxers here. You know, outside of London, you know, we've probably had the most champions ever produced.
It's just like if you could picture a gym in your mind, a boxing gym, a tough boxing gym, this would be it. It's got everything about it, just looks like it's from the old school, and it is.
Boxing's changed my life. I owe it all down to, you know, to this gym.
People used to say, you're mad. Chris says, we're going to turn out British, Commonwealth, European and World Champions. So you're double mad. But it all happened. If you get one champion, you're doing well. If you keep turning champions out over a period of time, you must be doing something right.
Oh, a right hand! Gets Thompson in the fourth round. Oh, it was a huge punch. Another left hand. Oh, that's a big left though from Rhodes. And then a right hand, and down goes Silky Jones.
Timing was perfect.
Lovely place.
Oh, there it is. He's put his legs buckled there. Brown's got it. It's all over. From the beautiful city of Sheffield,
Errol Bomber Graham was good before he came here. He come from Nottingham. I met him in Nottingham one day, I was watching him boxing. But he got beat. He got beat in the ABAs. And he come with me, so he says, well, you're better off going pro. So he went pro, become British, Commonwealth, European, and world champion, sorry, missed the world title. To me, he underachieved.
With Errol Graham, he just had this grace, the movement, and you know, he'd make people miss, and you could see the frustration of the opponent. And then all of a sudden, he'd go tip, tip, tap, and you know, the fight would be over.
My style was like saying Muhammad Ali style. Is that I'd lean back, and everybody in the gym was standing upright and hands up and jabbing away and jabbing away. And I said, I'm gonna have a party here. I just sat back, enjoyed myself, moving around, and I didn't stop moving at all through the. I must have done about 14 rounds there, sparring with different people. And Brendan says, "This is magic." He says, "You know, I can do something with this guy."
With Errol, he used to torment the life out of people. You know, like, and he used to, I think, just frustrate them that much that they'd make mistakes, and then when they made the mistakes, you know, like, he'd punish them.
I was in the crowd, and Brendan says to everybody, does anybody want to come up and have a, you know, try and hit one of the fighters? You can hit them where they want, they can't hit your back. And Errol Graham was the one up there, so I thought, I'll have him. And I'm slinging about a million shots at this guy. I could not touch him. Errol had his hands behind his back, he was slipping the shots, smiling at me, talking at me, just poking me in the ribs. And I thought, I was so frustrated, but embarrassed, but frustrated, but embarrassed, but frustrated. And it kept going on, and Errol made me look like a right fool.
I remember being down here. I remember Chris Eubanks coming down here sparring with Errol, and Chris couldn't land a glove on Errol.
The first day he came in, right, we sparred together. We said, not just messing around sparring, so just getting, you know, what it's like, what is it like to spar with him. So sparring, moving around. Next thing, bang! I went to the floor and got back up. I said, did he hit me? He hit me. He hit me. The beeping person hit me. So I was back on my feet, moving around. After that day, let me say once more, after that day, he never touched me.
I was there for 3 weeks. In that 3-week period, I hit him once. The one time I did hit him, I put him on his back. But all the rest of the time, I got my head boxed off, which is why when I turned or became champion of the world, I publicly said I would never fight him. And why would I want to fight someone you can't hit? It's the only way to actually honourably discharge yourself from actually competing with a fighter without losing honour.
Brendan came up to me and said, "You got this fighter, Julian Jackson," and I said, yeah. You know, he can punch you, but you can punch, you can punch. And that's it, he can punch. Referee come up to me and he says, yeah, right, this might be your last round. And I said, what? He said, it might be your last round. If nothing happens in this round, we're going to stop the round. I'm going, I'm going to be world champion. Yes. So I went out, laxy daisy, moving around, do my thing. All of a sudden, I was just going to hook him with a right hook and leaning forward. And then what did he do? As he's coming over, smash right on my jaw, bang, clean out for 6 minutes. 6 minutes on the floor, a world champion, blitzed.
I think Errol's probably the best British fighter never to win a world title.
The Sheffield people absolutely loved him, and even to this day they do. It was a great time. That was really, for me, the beginning of everything, where everything started to move in boxing in the late 70s, 77, 78. And from that, it just seemed to spiral, and the good kids like Naz, Johnny, all these kids just started to flow for that.
Nobody ever thought Johnny Nelson was going to do anything with himself. Eddie Graham used to torment him to death, used to spin him, turn him, ridicule him. All sorts of ridicule. And he come out snuffing. He said, 2-3 years, please God, you're still alive. I said, he won't be able to do that with you.
I can remember when he first walked in this gym. I was an amateur boxer at the time. I think I was 14 years old. Johnny came in and I just remember sparring with him and thinking, he's all arms and legs, he's rubbish. And we actually cornered Johnny. We took him to loads of fights and he just kept throwing himself in, and I used to think to myself, he can't fight, he's got no heart, he don't want to fight. Why is he doing it? To get a name for himself, or so he can go to school and say I'm a boxer, or I could never understand it.
Brendan knew it was getting to me, and Brendan called me in the corner. He said, come here. He said, do me a favour. He said, I want you to start doing the weights. I said, why, Bren? He said, because if you do the weights, it'll make you stronger, and what'll happen is they won't be able to handle you, and they'll tell you not to do the weights, and they'll say to you, you're going to end up like Frank Bruno, you'll be a big stiff. He said, and when they say that to you, that means you're giving them trouble and they can't handle you. Then one day, Errol and Brian was in the corner getting changed, and he went, Johnny, come here. What's up? He said, you want to stop doing those weights because they're going to make you stiff like Frank Bruno. And I wanted to start laughing because they were the exact words that Brendan said. And I went, all right. And then Brendan came in. I said, Bren, you're right. He said, what? I said, they've told me to stop doing the weights because they make me like Frank Bruno. He said, smash him, keep doing it, son.
The amateurs, his record, you'd look at it and you think to yourself, terrible. Then I turned them pro. Then they turned around people's criticism, turned around and say, anyone he can make money with, he'll turn pro. Johnny Nelson, he's turned him, he's useless. So what happens when he becomes world champion? It's no good looking to there. You've got to look as forward as you can what you're going to do with them.
The two success stories out of the gym, I think, is my dad coming over from getting off the boat in Dublin and ending up at this place, and his number one project is Johnny Nelson, because when you saw him, when we used to go out, when he boxed amateur, you used to put your head down thinking who's going to go in the corner with him. Nobody wanted to boo him, and you just think, why on earth are you doing this? You don't look like you want to do it. You're not making no effort to do it. But gradually, his confidence came, and I think he realised that he could do it. And whatever anybody says, Johnny Nelson has been 100% success story from this gym, because you just wouldn't have expected him to do what he's done.
I got in the ring to box Carlos de Leon. I was a boy in a man's body. I froze. I was terrified. Looking at his record, I thought, nah, this guy's a real deal. You're going to get exposed here, Johnny. I can remember walking out, and I looked in the crowd, and Frank Bruno's there, Michael Watson's there, Linda Lusardi's in the crowd, you guys don't know Linda Lusardi, ex-pastry. They were all in the crowd, and I thought, oh my God, these lot have come to watch me. And Brendan's talking in my ear, and he knew I'd just phased over. He's talking to me, Johnny, stay focused, come on, stay. He's on my ear, he's on me all the time. I got in the ring. He could have stabbed me in my forehead. I was not waking up. I wasn't having it. I just glazed over. But That was the worst and the best experience in my life. Because then, that's when it all began. After that fight, it was hard because everybody in Sheffield turned against me.
I can understand the frustration, but really, it was like Johnny Nelson was in the 4th division and all of a sudden we put him in the Premiership. You know, like he got a draw against, you know, Manchester United or whatever. You know, like he's from Winkerbank Wanderers or whatever, and all of a sudden he's in with Manchester United. It should have been looked on of what it was. You know, like it was a big step up for him. But I think people were disappointed that it was within his grasp, and I think he realised afterwards that it was.
And if I'd have walked away from boxing at that point, it affected me for the rest of my life in everything I do. I'd have never tried to push myself in anything. And the only person that was there behind me that knew where I was coming from was Brendan. He understood how to deal with me. He understood, even if I didn't box, I had to fix this. So when it came to boxing for the world title against Carl Thompson, it wasn't about winning it for me. It was about winning it for the gym, because I'm a product of the gym, because I had nothing. No natural talent, no raw ability. I had nothing. I wasn't gifted as a sportsman. I wasn't aggressive. I'm not a hard case. So I'm a building block of this gym. So everything you see in me is developed from here. I'm not a former champion that's come in and Brendan's just tweaked me. I've been made from scratch. So to win the world title against Carl Thompson, it was to pay back the gym.
Next fight, he'll box him next fight, and we don't want to talk.
Can you let me talk? Can you let me talk?
Okay. Johnny,
Next fight.
if you wants to get to my man, you got to get through me first. Believe me, the next fight is about time.
And look at this, dazzling combinations, and he's going to stop it. It's over in the 5th round. Nelson lays the ghost to rest. Thompson protests bitterly at the stoppage, but Johnny Nelson becomes the WBO Cruiserweight champion.
For me, was just to show that Brendan Ingle's system works. I'm a product of St. Thomas's Boxing Club. I entered the gym with nothing, no natural talent, no natural raw ability. I entered the gym with nothing. I'm a product of the gym. I am the gym.
If Johnny had lost that fight, that would have been the end of him. And he turned that fight around, won. And, you know, for the next 7 or 8 years, he was world champion, unbeaten. And, you know, he was unbeaten in the last 10 years of his career.
It was a Friday. And Brendan said, "That's it, Johnny, that'll do you." I said, Brendan, just one more round. He said, no, that'll do you. I said, "One more round, man, please, and I'll get out." So we're in the ring sparring. Then I heard something like a floorboard snap. Next minute, I was on the floor. And I'm sat on the floor, and I'm looking at the sparring partner. He's thinking, "Well, I didn't hear you." And I'm like sat on the floor, and like Brendan looked at me, and like his face, I can remember the look on his face as if to say, "That's not good." Got to the hospital. Brendan came up to the hospital with me, and we sat there while I'm laid on the bed. The doctor came up. He looked at my knee, what was my knee, and there was like a hole there. And he went, "Ah." I said, "Listen, doc, I'm fighting in 2 weeks. If you could just bandage me up, and then after the fight, we'll deal with this after the fight." And he said, "There's not going to be a fight." He wasn't even tactical about it. He wasn't even soft about it. He said, "You won't box again. Your career's over." If he was close enough, I'd have probably grabbed him. And I was in tears. I was in bits. And I thought, "You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know me. I'm all right." So he walked away. Then a nurse came up. When the nurse came up, she held my hand, and that was it. Wait a minute. So apart from my career being over, I missed being in the gym. I missed Brendan. I missed everybody in the gym. Because every day of my life, as long as I can remember, I've been in the gym. Every problem I've had, as long as I can remember, has been aired in the gym and dealt with via the gym. Not just professionally, not just as a fighter, personal stuff as well.
Well, that's a big left though from Rhodes. And then a right hand, and down goes Silky Jones. Great shot that was from Ryan Rhodes. He's up at 7, but he's all over the place, Jones. He might not be able to go on here. He's stopped. Ryan Rhodes is the youngest British champion at any weight for 57 years.
The first Saturday morning I came in here, and I went and spoke to Brendan, and he was shouting young kids up at my age. They was walking up to me. He was asking them questions. They was answering him. I was looking in the ring, watching the lads sparring. There was people on the bags. There was people getting took on the pads, and I just remember thinking, I like this. I don't think I'd ever heard anybody with the Irish accent, and I was a bit shocked, a bit amazed, thinking, how come I don't speak like him, or do I speak like him? But I looked up to him straight away, because he said what kids needed to do, what you needed to do, and I thought, I like it. When I started coming through with the amateurs and everything like that, I used to look up to Errol, to Johnny, to Brian Anderson, to Fidel Castro Smith, Slugger O'Toole, or whatever you want to call him. I just used to look up to them, and they were like British champion, Commonwealth champion, European champions, and they was in here with cameras just like we are today, having pictures, getting interviewed. It looked really good when I was growing up, and I really, wanted a part of that. I turned professional at 18. On me, I think 11th fight, I fought a former friend of mine from down here, Paul Silky Jones, for the British title in Sheffield at Ponds Forge. I knocked Silky out in, I think, 7 or 8 rounds. So I was the youngest in 57 years to win a British title. And then I went on and defended it 3 times in record time, which was 90 days. So I had 3 fights within 90 days. So I was the quickest to win a Lonsdale belt outright. And then my career just went up from there. I felt I needed a change, something different. And I spoke to John and Dominic and Brendan. And, we decided to, for me to try something else. I decided I needed to try something else. So John and Dominic and Brendan was cool about that. So we obviously went our separate ways.
It wouldn't have been beyond Ryan winning a world title. You would have thought Ryan more over than Junior Witter winning a world title.
Junior came in, he boxed a few of our kids, Ryan Rhodes, another kid called Jason Barker, who was a very good amateur, when he was 18, 19, 20 years old. And he didn't do anything after that. And then I said to him, why did you walk in the gym when you were 22 years old? You'd been boxing, you boxed up to 18, 19, and seemed to just go off the scene. He went, well, I saw people like Ryan Rhodes on the TV, and all these kids are boxing the amateurs, doing it on Sky Sports. And I thought, well, I'll have a go.
I seen what happened with Ryan, because I remember I seen Ryan box when he was probably about 13, 14, and he was a short, stocky kid, massive shoulders, a lot of power, but he was raw. And the foot movement, the foot style didn't suit him, it didn't look like he'd be able to master it. I came on 5 years later, I boxed Ryan, we had a close fight, and he'd gone from a kid who I looked at as nowhere near going to be able to switch, to hit, to a kid who did it really well and really improved, gave me a good fight. So with that, knowing Naz in amateurs I did, I just thought, you know what, that's the place I want to go. A few other amateur trainers have said to me, if you're going to go pro, that's where you want to be with your style.
His first fight, he boxed a guy called Cameron Rayside in a 6-3s for your first fight. Cameron Rayside was Midlands area champion. I think he was undefeated in 8 or 9 fights. When I say we put Junior in, Junior could fight. And then when they came on with Zeb Judah, you just thought, Junior, do you want to do it? It's an opportunity. And Junior says, yeah, no problem.
Zeb Judah at the time was, destroying everybody. People saying, you must be mad chucking him in there, he's going to get knocked out in 3 or 4 rounds. But, we knew Junior was tricky enough and had the confidence to get through the 12 rounds. And after the fight, I said to Junior, you didn't win that. I said, but it just shows you, if you apply yourself right and listen 100%, you can become world champion. And I think from that point, the light switched on with him and he realised he could.
This guy, he was WBC champion, he was European champion, Commonwealth champion, British champion. You can't push all that aside. He made a significant level on anybody's judgment. WBC champion. That's the one.
All three in favour of the winner and the new WBC light welterweight champion of the world, Junior Witter!
What a night for Junior Witter. It was no spectacular, but he bossed it all the way, and he's a big winner on the scorecards. And now he can call himself the champion of the world.
Winning the world title is obviously the main goal with every fighter that we've got. Whereas when we started off, it was, you know, like, if you can get them to become British champion, that's great. If they win the Commonwealth, that's super. If they win the European, it's fantastic. If they win a world title, you know, like, it's beyond your dreams. 3 world champions out of 1 gym within the space of time that it is, you know, like, is a fantastic achievement.
I'm young, cool, calm and collected, confident, extraordinary, powerful, you name it, I've got it.
I'm on the bus, and I'm going to a part of Sheffield, not far around here, and I see him in the schoolyard up the Winkerbank School here, and he's fighting with 3 small kids like himself, and he's getting out of the way. And I thought to myself, he looks a bit handy.
Over the years, he just came into the gym, did his stuff, you know, and he never seemed to be detached from Brendan. Everywhere Brendan went, he seemed to be following. And we used to have a laugh and a joke that he was the Brendan's other son.
He went everywhere, every show. He knew every fighter, knew all the kids in the weight below him, in the schoolboys, the weight above him. He was like a professor of boxing, he was, when he was younger.
From a schoolboy, Naseem Hamed, took him right through the schools, all the way up, England International, 18, turned him pro. Then you'd hear people turning around and saying, there's an Irish fellow up in Winkerbank, he's a nutter.
I used to see Naz do things in the gym where, you know, I've been all the way around the world in gyms. I've been to the Wildcard gym, I've been to gyms in Vegas, I've been to gyms in New York, and I saw Naz do things I've never seen any other fighter do. Naz would spar with super middleweights and light heavyweights, and good super middleweights and light heavyweights, and just bash him for fun.
Naseem Hamed, I said, what happens? I says, I don't gamble. You go and put 100 pound down, you get 1,000 to 1. A 10,000 to 1. Again, he's 21 and I'm still alive, he'd be world champion. You're mad. Before he's 21, he's world champion.
I think Robinson always got him. Oh, that's a superb left hook. And Robinson is down for the 2nd time, and it is over. The referee waves it over, and the Prince is now king.
I'm over the moon for him. He done the job, and fair play to Steve Robinson. Fought like a champion, plenty of heart, and he took some good shots on the chin and he come back.
Naz winning the world title for me was a highlight, and then obviously everything afterwards was a bonus. But finally, winning the world title for the gym was a highlight for me.
This is where all the hoopla has to stop, and Prince Naseem Hamed has to show the Americans what all the fuss is about. Oh, look at that though! Look at that though! Right hand from Hamed. He's always got the power. And another left hand hook. That might not be the end of it. He's knocked out. It is over. And Prince Naseem Hamed, well, the American dream does take off for him.
If you're doing a system for 20 years, nobody can hit you. Why change the system?
I like the gym where I started out. This is a gym in Winkerbank in Sheffield. I'm happy with the gym, but I've been offered big contracts to go over to Tenerife in a totally different gym than Nigel Benn. It's a totally better gym, so I might be taking the deal because it includes a beautiful private jet and what can I say, sparring partners, you know, mates going over. I might take it.
For me, you know, it was sad because Brendan has spent a big part of his life on Naz. You know, he nearly got it right with Harold Graham, he nearly got it right with several people. But Naseem Hamed was the years and years of work all dropping together and finally producing this kid, you know, who, you know, was on par could have been on par with Muhammad Ali and the legends, you know, from a little place in Sheffield. And he was charismatic, you know, he could talk, everybody loved him, everybody tuned in to watch him. It was a fantastic time. Eventually, I think the big machine took over. You know, people were telling him one thing and another, and basically the basic fundamentals of boxing and, you know, knowing what you should do, just stick to the boxing and everything will fall into place. You know, Naz was into the higher life, the showbiz life, and everything else became bigger than the boxing.
His decision to go for whatever reason was his decision. I ain't got a problem with it because we had a fantastic time while it lasted.
When Brendan and Naz split, I was gutted. I just thought, what's going to happen now? Obviously, Naz went his way. Brendan, we stayed here, trained here. I never thought Naz boxed as good as he did when he was in the gym with us lot. You know, I don't think he boxed as good. He was in great fights, mate. I'm not saying that, but I don't think he was as good than when he was in this gym.
Oh, but he's got me another left hand, all over the place. Oh, look at Barrera here. 5-6 punch combination.
And he's doing a number on Hamed now.
He's just been found wanting technically at this level, I'm afraid, Hamed. There's no telling, though, how the judges will see it here. I cannot stress that enough in Las Vegas. We have seen so many controversies. We will get the final bell at any moment. It was terrific stuff, but for my money, Naseem Hamed has been beaten for the first time.
Marco Antonio Barrera.
Justice is done, no complaint from Hamed, and he couldn't have any.
A lot of people were glad when he got licked. Was I glad? No, I wasn't glad when he got licked. I just smiled to myself because I could see it all happening.
I personally think he underachieved because I think he could have been up there with your Floyd Mayweathers. I think he was definitely as good, or not, if not better, and more exciting. I don't think we saw, you know, the best of Naseem Hamed. You know, he won every title at his weight. He won the WBC, IBF, WBA, WBO. He won them all. You know, at different stages in his career, easily. And I think when he boxed Barrera, I don't think it was his best performance. I think, you know, he could have won that fight.
He underachieved. See, when he got beat by Barrera, what people don't realise, I think he lost by 1 round. No disrespect to who he went to, you know, but if you're in the system 7 days a week and you're beating everybody, why change the system?
First memory of me coming down to this gym, I'm a 9-year-old. I walked into the gym.
He's the next one's going to come true.
As long as we're not like that.
It's just time and patience.
Kell Brook has the Lonsdale belt forever. And Kell Brook's American debut is a successful one.
Oh, this is going to be over right now. Kell Brook is raised aloft. He said he'd do what Naseem Hamed did all those years ago.
My dad took me out to Brendan, and he was asking me some of these questions. You know, a 9-year-old kid, you know, he would just bamboozle me with these questions, and he's telling me, you know, watch me on these lines, watch me on these lines. So he got me going down these lines, and I think I said to my dad, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do these lines. I want to get out bags, kind of thing. And I think I stopped coming down for a bit. And then, you know, I think I got a taste for it again, got back down, and not looked back since.
Kell Brook's probably the last, what I call the old school, because after Kell Brook, you know, that was the Naseem Hamed period, the Johnny Nelson. There's no other kids from that time left in the gym. Kell's the last one. He's 26 now, so he's not the young kid anymore. He's the top of the pile.
All the young guys look up to me. I always, you know, stay about to have a talk to him, talk to the parents, you know, and you know, the kids love it. They keep coming down and they've got that bounce in their leap, you know, like I did when I was their age. Once I got into the gym and Brendan was telling me for years that I was going to be world champion, and obviously they could see that spark there in me. And then after winning championships in amateurs and stuff, I thought, you know what, this is what I want. This is what I want. You know, even before that, you know, as a young kid training that gym, I was seeing like Naz and Ryan and Johnny Nelson and other people and thinking, I want that. You know, I want to be world champion. So since from being 9-year-old, you know, I've had a passion.
It wasn't until a few years later when he started to develop and, you know, trim up, and he became a regular feature in the gym, you know, and had his first fight. I think that's when it really switched on then, that, you know, he was actually doing this training for some reason, and the reason was to get in and have a fight, you know, with kids in a ring, whereas before he'd be having fights with kids at school. So, and I think the buzz of the crowd, even back then, because he's got a big family, and you know, they all rolled up to watch him, and I think he got such a buzz off doing that he got the bug, and then he was in the gym and he couldn't keep him out of the place.
Dominic has been brilliant for me. As me being a professional, the back end of my fights, Dominic he does all the training with me, you know, he does all the things with me, talks to me about what we're going to be doing, you know, and we're coming here and get the job done.
Kid Galahad caused trouble in an empty room, just looking for trouble all the time. I said, put all your energy into something constructive, you can fight. But he caused trouble. No end of trouble. Now he's just got better and better and better. He's got a job, he's come through. He comes in and he's a good example, a good role model to all the other kids.
When I was about 13, I went to a gym in town to go and do some weight because I wanted to get bigger because I was only a small kid. And started training there, and there was a ring, and we used to just fiddle around, me and my friend. And one day I was at the local mosque and I seen Prince Naseem Hamed, and got talking to him, and he says to me, if you want to be a champion, you want to go to the Brendan Ingle gym.
You've got Kid Galahad, you've got Lee Wood, Sam O'Mason, Jordan Gill. These are names you won't have heard of. But, you know, in 2 or 3 years' time, you will see these kids coming through. They've had the blueprint with Naz, with Kell, with Johnny, with Junior. It's all there for them to see.
Hopefully I will hit the heights what Naz is, and hopefully I'll hit higher heights than Naz did.
I came into the gym when I was 16 years old, you know, just as a kid. I got into training. I just came into training, you know, the gym's famous, and at that particular time I think Naz were just up and coming, and it was the place to be. So I just came, you know, to say that I'd boxed, I'd gone into a gym. I couldn't see the bigger picture. So, you know, I can't really remember specifics, but I do remember just disappearing. I remember Brendan finding out where I lived at the time. I remember hearing his voice, and he said, I was looking for you, where have you been? And I said, Brendan, I'm embarrassed to tell you, but I ended up getting 13 years for false imprisonment, kidnap, robbery, Section 18. And it was an embarrassment at the time, because this guy had, for no cost, gone out of his way to find me, to try and encourage me, to try and inspire me, to try and motivate me. And, you know, I just couldn't see it. That's one thing, one of my biggest regrets. If I'd have seen it at the time, who knows, I might have been world champion now. You know, people said to me, what is it, what drives you? Do you know, to be honest with you, the things that drive me, the people I've hurt and the mistakes I've made. I'm not going to make the same mistakes with me boys. I'm not going to make the same mistake with my family, and that's what drives me. I won't make the same mistakes again.
You talk about great trainers, and you talk about great characters. To be a good trainer is not just to be able to tell anybody how to hit a bike or walk the lines or move around the ring. It's being able to get into the character of the individual and get the best out of that individual to make him believe in himself.
At first, I used to think he was crazy. He used to make me sing Red, Yellow. He used to go, come over here and shadow box and sing.
There's an Irish fella up in Winkerbank, and he's got them singing Red and Yellow, and they're going up and down lines.
You'd have to sit there and be like, red and yellow one.
Pink and green. And shadow boxing, but in the time to the nursery rhyme.
But really, it was so simple and so technical regards to the footwork. I said to him, if your feet are right, I says, then you've got less chance of getting hit. I says, you do your combinations on the bikes, they're very simple, straight left, straight right. So you come in here and the kids are going up and down the lines and they're going red and yellow and pink and green, orange and purple and blue.
I can sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow too. And then that's when everybody starts clapping and either clapping or looking at you like you're a complete idiot.
Even now, with a lot of the guys, what you'd do is you'd get people coming in like the sports minister or something like that, and Brennan would say, look, show them hand-eye coordination, go and do it. And so what you'd do is you'd back off because whoever was close by, you'd drag you. Be it me, be it Naz, be it Richard Towers, be it Junior, and then you'd have to start shadow boxing. That's the kind of things he'd do, just for confidence, hand, foot, eye coordination, timing, character.
Going up and down them lines, used to think I was a nutcase. Used to say, he's got them singing red and yellow. They're going up and down the lines, but it says you're learning hand, foot, eye, voice, hearing, coordination. And instead of getting in and knocking hell out of one another, they would call it technical sparring now, but had them body sparring. Nobody ever got hurt here, and we wouldn't have it. And even now I can have heated discussions over open sparring.
There's more to boxing than knocking lumps off each other. There's a style to it, you know. It's also the art of not getting hit as well as hitting somebody.
We have got a unique style. I mean, Johnny Nelson, you look at him now, you wouldn't put him down as a boxer. He's not got a mark on him. Junior Witter hasn't, Ryan Rhodes hasn't. You know, like the kids, when you think they've been doing this 10, 15, 20 years, you wouldn't expect somebody to be doing a sport like this.
This gym's been ram-packed with so many fighters over the years, so many champions, so much character. You know, the walls, they've not changed. And, you know, this place is, you know, it feels like home to me.
And you wouldn't think there was a hierarchy where the champions come in at a certain time and the amateurs and the kids come in at another time. This gym's not like that. Everybody isn't together. You could walk in, you would not know who was a champion, who was a fighter, who was a novice, who had just come out of prison. Everybody works together.
At one point, there was myself, Naz, Kevin Adamson, Clifton Mitchell, Martin Smith, Johnny, and Fidel. And that ring, honestly, was absolutely brilliant. There was arguments, there was banter, there was name calling. Everything happened in that ring with them groups of people. The gym was buzzing at the time.
I think everybody, when they walk in, everybody's got the same opportunity. It doesn't matter how old you are, what colour you are, your background, or anything like that. Everybody's given the same chance. If you put the work in, then the opportunity is there for you.
At the end of the day, we want to get kids off the street, get them to make some money, finish in good health, do as they're told, and, you know, change their life in a positive way.
Brennan calls it positive brainwashing. I call it the best thing that could ever happen to me, because I wouldn't be me if I didn't come to this gym.
The greatest successes are when the kids come in, we're probably never going to make a boxer, but they come in, they see a father figure with Brendan or me or John, and they get some discipline, they get some kind of focus in life, they get balance, they get a routine, and through that, you know, they go on to get themselves a job or a part-time job.
We get results. The kids are going to school that wouldn't go to school. They're graduating from university. I says we turned out British, Commonwealth, European and World Champions. But the main thing is, when they come in here and they don't go to school, they can't come in here unless they go to school. And if they give the teachers any hassle, you know, we've all gone through it, you got to go up, tell the teachers they're sorry and they're back in again.
And most of the kids, you know, a lot of kids come from families where the brothers are in trouble, they might be in prison. But the one thing is that the kid who comes down here and trains manages to avoid going to prison or getting, you know, wrapped up in that because they've got a role model and an idea what they want to do.
To most of these kids in the gym, I'm a role model because I come from nothing and hopefully I'm going to be something. Most of them look up to me, I always talk to them, and it's a good feeling, a very good feeling.
You're better off having people doing something constructive with their life, and the boxing here is getting them to focus and developing skills so they can get a job.
A lot of the successes in this gym actually go unnoticed, but it's more down that line of keeping people out of prison, or keeping people away from the police, or getting into trouble on the streets.
This gym's so special. I think just over the years, how much history it's got. It's been here for years, as long as I've known, and it's champion after champion have come out of this gym. All of them have done these lines in this gym. We've all done these lines. We've all listened to Brendan's stories, what I keep going on and on and on about over years. We train so hard. We all want each other to win, and I think this gym it's so well known around the community. It's just a place, and memories.
I said I can sit back and say to myself, yeah, will I take a bit of credit from it? Yeah, of course I will. I says, because you spent time in my gym, because I know what you wear. When I'm uptown and I come across kids, and they're with the parents or the grandparents, and I look at them and I think to myself, I can't believe the way you've changed. He says, what a nightmare you were, what a headache you were. And you just start laughing. Well, you learn, don't you? I says, well, everybody learns. He says, marvellous what you've gone and achieved.
Brendan's the type of fella you can't say a bad word about, and it makes me feel bad that I didn't put in all the effort he put in to just a kid I didn't have nothing to offer him. But the fact is, me realising that now, it's one of the things, one of the main ingredients what actually drives me.
If I didn't meet Brendan, I'd probably be in prison. I would not be the man I am today, not in a million years, I know that.
Coming to the gym guided me, it put me on the right track, and if I hadn't have come to the gym, I don't think it would have been looking good for me.
Probably if it went for Brendan or Dominic or John Ingle, I'd probably be in prison right about now. It changed my life completely. It turned me from a crafty, bad thinking guy to a good thinking guy. Opened my eyes up to the world.
He's a godsend as far as I'm concerned, and as far as many, many thousands of people are concerned.
I would have ended up going down the wrong route, so really boxing's changed my life. So I owe it all down to this gym.
Changing life is the most important thing, but if you finish up making a champion, you travel all over the place and travel all over. What's better than traveling all over the world and somebody else is paying to see you?
This was my home. This gym turned me into a man from being a boy. It's seen my children grow up. It's seen my parents. It knows my family. It knows me inside out, and that's why this gym is pivotal. Always has been in my life.
Out in the garden where we planted the seeds, there is a tree as old as me.
Watch all 6 Sky Sports channels on your mobile and online.